What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some new cards to talk about. You see, the lovely folks over on the Fantasy Flight Games Twitter just went and dropped a new Untamed card at us, and we've had a couple of Sanctum cards revealed, only two, literally a couple, and I haven't had enough to put in their own video. Well, now it doesn't really matter, ladies and gentlemen, because we can chuck them in here. And I want to start off today having a look at the Untamed creature Roxador. I like Roxador. Incidentally, right, Untamed have to have the best artwork and creature design in the game at the moment. Come at me in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Come at me in the comment section. So, what does it do? Well, it's a 4-power creature, which is not terribly high, but it's also not terrible. No armor, which is sad, but it's got skirmish. Skirmish says that when you fight, that is to say you instigate the fight, you start it, you do not take any damage in return. This is nice. It means that you can attack whoever you want without fear of reprisal. It means that if your opponent attacks you, yeah, you could well be going down there. And that's a problem. But if you're doing the attacking, you're good. Now, there is a huge downside here. You only deal 2 damage when attacking. That's not good. I mean, look, there are creatures you're going to take out here. There are plenty of relevant creatures that have 2 or fewer power. Well, 1 or 2. Can't really get any others. Restringuntus. Very good card. Bit of a lock card. You get that down. Ember Imp's kind of annoying. Restricts you to playing 2 cards during your turn. That's kind of annoying. They'll both go down, and you don't take any damage in the meantime. But you only deal 2 damage when fighting. This reminds me a little bit of Shadow Self. A little bit of Shadow Self. Or that Ether Spider that we saw in Mars, who were the 2 characters, or 2 creatures, back in Wave 1 that dealt no damage when fighting. I think they were the only 2. If I've missed one, let me know in the comment section. But you see, this does deal some damage. It deals 2 damage. But here's the last part of the equation. When you fight, you stun the attacked creature. This is great. This is really nice. Because when you're starting it, remember you've got skirmish. So you start on your opponent. You deal 4 damage. And you don't take any in return because you've got skirmish. And then either you've destroyed the creature, yay, or you've stunned the creature. And you know what? Stunning is good. Stunning means you've got to use that creature just to get rid of the stun. No reaping, no fighting, no any of that. They've got to use the creature during that turn. And here's the thing, right? In your deck, you've got 3 houses. So if you stun a Shadows creature, then they've got to take a Shadow's turn to unstun it, and then a Shadow's turn to use it. And if they don't take 2 consecutive Shadow's turns, they can't actually use it in 2 turns' time. It's going to take longer, which is kind of hilarious for you. Less so for your opponent. As an attacker, I like it a lot. It's one of these cards that seems very well designed and very well balanced. The 4 power seems quite low, fairly easy to destroy, especially as it's a giant gosh darned elephant. But the fact that you've got skirmish and you stun, but you only deal 2 damage, really does help to balance it. It's not going to last all that long when it gets attacked. Remember that fight abilities only resolve when you start the fight. If your opponent attacks you, even if you survive, you don't get the skill because you didn't instigate the fight. Important to note there. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like this card a lot. But we've also had a couple of Sanctum cards been revealed, and the reason Sanctum didn't get a video isn't because I hate Sanctum. I mean, it's one of my least favourite. It probably is, in fact, no. It's probably 6 out of 7. I probably like Brobnar a bit less. It's because I didn't really have anything to do because we only had 2 cards revealed. But we've got Lion Baltrum, and I'm sure that's been mispronounced here. A 4-power creature with 1 armor. Remember, Sanctum generally tend to have armor. And it's got this new keyword skill, Deploy. which means that instead of entering play on a flank, like the vast majority of creatures do, by which I mean literally every creature that doesn't have deploy, you can put it down wherever you like. And it was said in the reveal live stream for Wave 2 that creatures with this deploy skill are going to have some kind of skill which affects its neighbours. And in keeping with that, this absolutely does. Your neighbours get +2 power. So what you do is you put it down anywhere you like, and you essentially get the choice of which creatures get +2 power. Now, to be fair, if you want to give 2 specific creatures +2 power, they better already be next to each other in the line. Otherwise, you're not going to give them this. It's not going to work. But as long as they are next to each other in the line, you're absolutely rolling, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact of the matter is, we can usually identify one creature that we want to give an extra couple of power to. It may well be that you've got a creature that you want to use to fight, but it's a 4 power creature and it's going against a 5 power creature. Well, great news. Now all of a sudden you're a 6 power creature, they're a 5 power creature. You only survive with 1 power left, 1 health left, but you do survive. And obviously, we can start racking up some combos here. So take something like Staunch Knight. It gets +2 power when it's on a flank. So what you can do quite nicely here is have Staunch Knight on a flank, insert this into the battle line next to, but not quite on the flank, and then all of a sudden it gets another +2 power. So Staunch Knight goes from a 4 power to a 6 power to an 8 power with 2 armor, and all of a sudden we've got one of the best attackers in the game. One of my favorite cards, when you can get it working, one of my favorite cards is Zizix the Many. It's a 3 power creature which looks fairly uninspiring at first glance, but when you fight or reap, you may reveal a creature from your hand. If you do, you archive it, and Zizix the Many gets 3 +1 power counters. Now, if you can actually do this a couple of times, you're going from 3 power to 6 power to 9 power, etc., and you can become quite redonkulously big, and then you add in something like this, and it gets kind of hilarious. The final card I want to mention in this video is the Grey Rider, the one that was revealed almost by stealth in the video that the Keyforge folks put out. And it's the Grey Rider, and it's a 2 power creature with no armor. Okay, it's fine. It's also got a deploy skill, which says that this creature can enter play anywhere in your battle line, just like we saw on Lion Baltram earlier. This does make me think, oh, does that mean all these Sanctum cards are going to be given this deploy keys? No! It's probably a coincidence. Then again, we did see back in Wave 1, we had all kinds of stuff like Bulwark, which affected neighbors, so maybe. And then when you play it, or you fight, or you reap, you may ready and fight with a neighboring creature. Now this is exceptionally awesome, because you get to choose who you're fighting with. Now, don't know how often it's going to happen. Don't even know if this card is making it into Wave 2. Khalifi Dragon. It's a 12 power. So whack it down next to Khalifi Dragon, fight with it. Multiple Khalifi Dragons. Although, honestly, as much as I love pointing out the 12-cost creature, this is going to be better when it's something with Skirmish. So we're actually just going straight back to the card with which we started this video, Roxador. Because Roxador stuns. So what would be great here if you ended up with both of these in the same deck, fight with Roxador to stun, and then you get exhausted, and then you reap with this, or you fight with this, or you play this, and all of a sudden you can put it down next to Roxador, and Roxador gets another chance. Roxador can go fighting. That's what I love about this. But remember the ruling. The ruling here says, do as much as you can. So generally speaking, you would ready and fight, same as you would with Anger back in Wave 1. Now, I know that Anger is an action card, and this is a skill that you use when you fight Reap, etc. But it's the same thing in reality. You ready? Oh, my opponent has nothing to fight. Guess I get to Reap. So even though it says ready and fight, if there's nothing to fight, you will get to Reap instead. And then, of course, there's a potential combo here. What if you've got 2 Grey Knight next to each other, and there's nothing to fight? Grey Rider, I should say. Because you Reap with one, and then ready the other one, but there's nothing to fight. So you Reap instead, and then you ready the first one again, but there's nothing to fight, so you Reap again. Now, this is where the rule of 6 would come in and stop you doing this infinitely. Rule of 6 would say you can do this 6 times. But unless this is limited to 1 per deck, which some cards in Wave 1 were, I did a video about that, I'll pop a link in the description, there is a potential here that you could have 2 Grey Riders, and if your opponent has no creatures on the field, you can literally sit there and just Reap over and over again with your 2 Grey Riders that are next to each other, which is pretty sweet. I feel a bit mean chucking these into a video that isn't themed. My other set 2 videos so far where I've been looking at these cards have been for one particular house. These are, hey, there's 3 cards that have been dropped. But you know what? They're the only 3 cards we've got. What am I supposed to do? Not make a video looking at them? That does not sound like me. What does sound like me, however, is suggesting to you lovely ladies and gentlemen, tell me what you think about these 3 new cards in the comment section. Please go nuts, but please be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about other games. And of course, the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.